Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar session. As some of you may know, so today's webinar session is dedicated to the investment opportunity, which is Bitebell. Bitebell is a Serbian food tech SaaS. I will let the founders define a bit better what they're doing, but essentially they're a SaaS company in the food and delivery space. We're very happy to have them here today. It's been a journey for the past 6 months. We've been in contact with the guys, I think, for already 1 year, and we're very happy to see the evolution of the company, and now to hear that they're also interested in joining the Bulgarian, Romanian, Bulgarian, and perhaps also Greek market, which are also the markets where SeedBlink is present. On that note, and without further ado, so just as a short recap, the investment opportunity will be live on Friday, the 8th, as a priority access to our elite investors, and then it will go public next week on Thursday. So I will invite both, I have the pleasure of having with me Srđan, who is the co-founder and CEO of Bitebell, as well as Miloš, who is the first investor in Bitebell. I will invite them both to do a short introduction of themselves, and then we'll go as you're used to through the pitch and Q&A session. If there are any questions, feel free to address them in the chat, and I'll take them one by one. Thank you.
So Miloš, maybe I can start. Eric, first of all, thanks for the kind words of introduction. Yes, it's been a journey. We're happy to be here today, and thank you for the invitation, and of course for the opportunity to present to the SeedBlink community. Basically, I'm Srđan, together with Željko and Vladimir, who are today in the audience, probably. Or not probably, they're for sure in the audience. I'm the co-founder of Bitebell. We are basically, as you properly introduced, food tech startup based out of Serbia. We specialize in delivery automation, and my personal background has been in building financial, transactional, and data-driven products for more than 10 years in different contexts, in different international organizations. Miloš, I pass the ball to you.
Thank you, guys, and hello to everybody. My name is Miloš Matic. I'm a partner at ICT Hub Venture, which is a privately owned micro VC based out in Belgrade. We invest in a pre-seed stage and early seed stage startups across Southeast Europe, and Bitebell is one of our own portfolio companies that we invested in, well, year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, but we know each other for almost 3 years. So yeah, I'll be gladly answering all the questions you might have regarding the investments, early investment in Bitebell, and then the progress check on them in the past years.
Right, thank you.
Maybe I will share my screen just to make it easier for everybody to follow the presentation.
Absolutely.
So as I mentioned, I'm Srđan, together with my partners Željko, Vladimir, and Marko, who is our CTO. We are the founding team of Bitebell. Now, skipping the introduction for the sake of time, let's talk about why we are here today. I'm pretty sure that everybody in the audience has at least once, or probably even more times this week or this month, ordered food online. And this, of course, what started as a convenient way for people to order their favorite pizzas, burgers, etc., grew into something that is called quick commerce, expanded into more areas like retail, like over-the-counter pharma, etc. So basically a whole new industry got defined, and it's a big industry. It's worth almost 300 billion a year, and it's let's say it has been very successful in bringing customers in front of their mobile screens penetrating the market, and if I may say so, spoiling the customers, the end customers, the users, with the great convenience that these delivery platforms offer. I'm sure we can all agree on that, probably judging by our credit card bills from the platform. Now, I will not spend too much time to speak about the let's say how much the quick commerce grew as an industry. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory, and everybody in the audience already has experience with that, seeing it from first perspective. But what I would actually like to focus about is to speak about two things. First is the demand. There is a huge demand that has been generated on these platforms, and on the other side, there is the reality in the restaurants, because not many of us, when we order our favorite pizza or sushi or whatever, we don't think what happens in the restaurant, and there is a lot happening in the restaurant. Actually, on the other side of that screen, a lot of processes, a lot of systems are involved, and for many restaurant owners, it feels like they're running a completely different business on top of the business that they're already running, being the restaurant operations in store. Also, delivery platforms themselves, this is also a funny point, but it's true. They do not understand exactly what's happening in the restaurant, because of course, not many of them have owned or worked in the restaurant before. Therefore, for example, Deliveroo opened the restaurant just to understand how does it look on the restaurant side. So just sort of giving you more or less the idea about how cumbersome this thing can be. So on the next slide, I'll try to just simplify a bit and to show you what the customer sees versus how it looks in the back end of a restaurant. So basically, the customer's orders, they submit the order and they wait for the response. Yeah, your delivery is on the way, or it has been delivered. Sometimes when deliveries are late, of course, you get frustrated. You look where the man is on the screen. And that's pretty much it in terms of interacting with the order preparation process. In the back, there is a whole lot of things going on, meaning that the restaurant, first of all, have probably multiple tablets. They need to take the order, punch it in the system. Then there is a place where, for example, there is a central hub in the restaurant where the orders are captured. The orders flow then through the kitchen display system. They're assigned to the driver. So the order and the data enters into this vicious loop, which typically passes on through disconnected systems with a lot of manual entry, a lot of manuality, a lot of frustrations, leading to, of course, delays in preparations, inefficiencies in the restaurants, time wasted on doing manual stuff, things that can be automated, and of course, leading to costly mistakes that can happen. Somebody orders a pizza without salami, you put salami, they refund the whole order. They also refund the Cokes, they refund the other pizza. So the restaurant is always on a loss when a refund happens, and it happens exactly because of this. It happens because of this, if I may say so, complicated mess that very often happens in the background. Now, with Bitebell, this is completely changed. So Bitebell eliminates this mess. We position ourselves as a middleware between, on one side, different ordering platforms, and on the other side, different players or different software vendors that are already present in the restaurant or in the kitchen. That this can be a POS or electronic cash register, ERP system, inventory system, fulfillment system that the restaurant uses, and we basically facilitate bi-directional exchange of data between them, basically simplifying how the process looks in the kitchen, eliminating the need for more tablets, allowing the restaurants to manage their menus through a centralized platform, etc. So the customer, of course, the end customer also sees this because they have up-to-date menus. When the item is out of stock, it is clearly signaled, and of course, inventory is also out. When something is out of sync, inventory is always also accurate on the delivery platforms. Of course, this also means that we help the restaurants to be more efficient in the kitchen, allowing them to prepare the orders faster, and that, of course, the whole delivery process can be faster with less mistakes. So indirectly, also the customer feels, let's say, the presence of Bitebell, which we can also affirm because we see on average that customers that are with us using Bitebell have implemented Bitebell in their operations, have seen a spike in the total top line revenue, probably because of the efficiencies that they have. as I mentioned, we are acting as a middleware, but we are also trying to make it fully customizable for the restaurant, because what we have realized so far after 150 locations that we have successfully onboarded on the platform, that there are rarely two restaurants that are alike in terms of processes, of course, in terms of people, in terms of wishes, what they want and how they want things done. So we have provided them with a single and easy sort of hub for automating the process the way they see fit. So the same platform can be applied in different ways for participating restaurants based on their preferences. Now, what is something that we are particularly proud about is that we add value to the entire ecosystem. It's not that we are simply selling a B2B product. Of course, for quick commerce venues, as I mentioned, of course, they can easily manage menus and promotions on all the platforms. They can handle the orders on one single device without multiple devices and redundant tablets. They get their orders automatically synced to the POS. They get daily reports with breakdown of things. They can run virtual brands from their existing kitchens, and so much more in terms of value that we add to the restaurants, who are of course our major clients. And of course, for the quick commerce platforms themselves, being Glovo, Volt, etc., we are increasingly seeing referrals from them because we help them that their offer, so what they show to their customers, is up to date, without mistakes, without out of stock items. Funny fact, we pitched one client simply because we got frustrated trying to order from that store 3 times, and 3 times the item that we want to order was out of stock, and it was always 3 times there. We simply raised the phone, called them, say, hey guys, we have a solution for your problem, and they are now in our pipeline, let's say likely to convert this autumn. So also, how do we help to the quick commerce platforms? Of course, we increase their fleet velocity. This is a metric that they use, meaning that if the order is prepared quicker, then it means that also the driver doesn't have to wait, and this few minutes extra on the whole fleet, for them it really makes a difference. Of course, their data teams are also happy with us because they don't have to be bothered with changing the prices, with updating images, etc. This can all be done through our centralized platform now. For integration partners, being POS partners, we also help in the sense of being able to provide them with a single API to integrate with the whole universe of different food tech platforms. And of course, we can allow them to focus on their core business, whatever it is, be it fleet management, be it POS systems, etc., and help them to grow as well, because all of their clients are now seeing this quick commerce growth and would like to be on board. So overall, we simply let's say some sort of liquid, make the whole process run smooth. And of course, with Bitebell, there is in general on the market more quick commerce going. Now, this is a little bit about our business model and pricing. We are starting for as low as 30 euros a month and go up to 150 euros a month for our, let's say, core package, which is to connect the POS entry. We, of course, have other packages being menu management and or simply reporting insights, and this can all be bought separately, which is also something that distinguishes us from the competition. Now, I would like to spare some time because I'm seeing that we're running out of time on the traction. So currently we're processing around 100 transactions a month. This corresponds to roughly 1 million euro of processed volumes per month. In Serbia, in this, I would say, last year or less, because we effectively started operations in May last year, we have managed to capture approximately 10% of the market. Have about 12K contracted MRR with, I would say, 3 to 4, Željko and Vlada in audience can correct me if I'm wrong, but 3,000 to 4,000 of verbal confirmations, as we call them. So the clients that are very close to signing the contract and are active on 150 plus locations in 3 countries, 3 regional countries. Furthermore, what we have managed to do is to basically validate the different value proposition and across different customer segments. So we sell both to small, medium restaurants, so independent mom and pop places, chain restaurants, cloud and dark kitchens, as well as recently to groceries and quick retail. And the points that we have managed to validate so far have been remote onboarding. This was something that was very important for us because we don't need to go to the field. We don't have to be on site. We can validate, let's say, the whole business model by simply allowing for remote onboarding. And this is what we are already doing. So funny fact, there is a restaurant very close to our office in Belgrade. We have onboarded them without even going to the restaurant, which I find very, very rewarding. And of course, clients in other cities and in other countries are, of course, by definition, onboarded fully remotely. We have managed to position ourselves in the ecosystem. This is also something that is a key takeaway from what we have managed to do so far. Because in the beginning, people were a little bit confused. Hey, what is this? You know, is it a part of the POS, of the cash register? Where does this fit? Now we have managed to clearly identify, you know, what is it? What is the value that we bring? And on many occasions, we are actually priced way more than the POS, which is for me something that is a good takeaway of the value that we are providing. And of course, we have managed to turn our partners into sales channels, meaning both delivery platforms like Glovo and Volt, they're referring business to us, but also our POS and cash register partners are referring business to us. And this is also something that we are proud of in terms of achievement in the last year. In terms of competition, of course, we do have competitors scattered around three main, I would say, main pillars. There is, by the way, from my experience, no way to properly represent competition on a slide. So I would just like to explain it a little bit. This is pretty much in terms of key pillars of our value proposition. When you would add geographies, this would pretty much come to one or two names on the list. Of course, some of them are familiar for you in Romania, being Gloria Food, but they are now, after the Oracle acquisition, a little bit further away from our core competitor, even though, of course, they are, I would say, indirect competitor to a certain extent. There is Deliverect. They're a competitor, European-based competitor, and a main competitor, I would say. And comparing to competition, we have three, let's say, differences. First one being that our platform is granular, so you can pick and choose which features do you want and basically pay for this feature. It's not all bundled in a costly monthly subscription. Second, we are, of course, very reactive in terms of onboarding and are reducing onboarding times. The target with this round, and this is also one of the KPIs set by Telekom Serbia, is to reduce the onboarding time to 24 hours or less, so 1 day of onboarding time for restaurants once all the prerequisites, so API keys, etc., is there. And third, of course, our customers feel us to be very near to them. They want to deal with somebody who is physically also near to them. In terms of go-to-market plan, as Eric mentioned, so our focus is to enter Romania and capture the sort of blue ocean or underserved markets in Southeastern Europe with the physical presence, and then of course move on to Italy. This would be the next step for the following round. Italy is a huge market. It would be unrealistic to assume that we can do a substantial effort with the round that we are currently raising. Of course, it is in our interest to create a solid home base of recurring cash flows that will feel us also more comfortable to grow. This, of course, by definition, doesn't exclude that in the meanwhile we will have opportunities, and we'll look for opportunities to get clients in other geographies. But apart from our sort of home market that you can see in the below, so Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, and the whole let's say Yugoslavian perimeter, Romania, Greece, and Bulgaria are three markets that we are looking for to enter. What's next? We are basically now focusing on the onboarding, also investing a lot in our own internal processes to speed up the onboarding. Our pipeline is currently worth around 20,000 euros. These are the leads pretty much scattered throughout the region. We want to convert them, want to come to 25K as a first checkpoint, and then by entering Romania to near 50K, at what point we would start to think about a Series A round. Because this will also mean that we have successfully validated the prerequisites of international expansion. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We are currently raising 500,000 euros, out of which Telekom Serbia Venture Fund, actually TS Venture Fund, they are a corporate venture of Telekom Serbia, will be leading the round with 250K. We are negotiating the term sheet still with them, but I think Milos can agree it's in a good way to be finalized. There are some technical details left. So open for your questions, and thank you for your time. It took me a little bit longer, I think.
I think I mean, I know that your deck is very well detailed and one of the better that I've seen. So I think it was worth taking the time and going through everything. Milos, I would also like, I mean, as a first series of questions, also if you can share a bit your background with Bitebell and the team, and how you decided when and how you decided to join on this journey as well.
Sure. In ICT Venture, we the best deals we have is through referrals, and the best startups, including Bitebell, actually came through a referral to us. So our network said, you need to meet these guys because they know what they're doing. And immediately, that first intro was, I think, early 2019, no, late 2019, early 2020, just before COVID hit. And we started talking. At that time, Bitebell was still prototype. The thing was idea what they need to do, and they tried to test it out in a few clients. And we followed the development with the team regularly, month in, month out. We saw the progress. We saw great potential in team. That was one of the key indicators of us making this investment initially. The strongest team we've seen so far. Experience was there. The joint experience as a team was also there. They still didn't, correct me if I'm wrong. Vladimir, Zhelko, and you know each other for 20 something years.
Yeah, we know each other 20 years, out of which I think we've spent 15 years working together.
Yeah.
So in different, of course, contexts and so on. But yeah, the team is quite used to each other. Yeah, we complement each other very well, I would say.
And since all three of you have different corporate background, that like filling each other with a skill set, and just when you start working with them on well, like Eric, you mentioned that the pitch deck is really refined. That's one of the first things we actually said and worked with the team for months, polishing the deck and preparing. And when you see how they work together, you know it's a compact team focused on certain goals, and they're executing on it. That was the key indicator that and we clicked culturally between us. That myself and the team actually clicked and said, okay, we can work together, and this makes sense. We saw at the time in 2020 when the lockdown hit and delivery exploded, the restaurants actually needed this type of software. And when we did market research, we saw like 281% growth in delivery in the first quarter after the lockdown. And yeah, we expect that the market will probably slow down a little bit, but the delivery will become a new normal. Not only food delivery, but I'm talking about, like Sinan said, spoiling out our generation. I don't want to go to the supermarket anymore to big shopping. I'll order something through Glovo to actually wait me at home. And if you closely look at the market, that actually happened what we predicted. And just market was there, timing was right, and the team was right. So that was an easy decision to make. And I can go in details, but please stop me if you need something else.
One like a follow-up question on that is, how do you see what happened in the past year since you invested until now? What were the positive aspects, less positive aspects, and what were the lessons learned from your perspective in the last year?
Okay, so well, I can talk about 2 years because we met in 2020. We've worked together during 2020, actually signed a term sheet in late 2020, invested in early 2021. But we actually worked together on receiving also the Innovation Fund grant to actually help the team build the product further on. That's why in 2021, in May or June, operations started and sales activity started in July of 2021. Just talking about the team and good lessons learned, when the sales actually started and they found a way, since then, since July or August 2021 to this day, the month-on-month growth of the Bitebell, either revenue-wise, it's like an average between 15 and 18% month-on-month growth in revenues. But if you go back to the deck and you can see the transaction-wise, it's even greater month-on-month growth, meaning that people are using the product intensively. It's significant KPI, a significant metric you need to look after in this type of a startup. I mean, talking about the wholesome of the team, we have specific tasks and they work as a machine. Right now, the onboarding the sale has actually done its job. It's fulfilling the pipeline. Now the onboarding needs to be more efficient and create and streamline the process so that in 24 hours you can onboard and move to the next one. So you have a bigger demand than you can actually close. Huge positive sign in this type of business. Sadly, the support and investor side is still conservative regarding this type of business. I need to address that question as well. Even though how much you prove that you're validated your idea and the business is growing, there's still some conservatives saying, okay, this is something not proven, but this is a startup that's just getting at the liftoff stage, and we need to support them as much as possible and recognize what they've done so far, so that can actually push it further to Romania and Italy. I'm honestly waiting to see what's going to happen in Italy, because that's one of the huge markets that, and I know Susan lived in Italy and at a Q in Milan. So you have a home knowing of the market.
We actually met in Milan, I think, with Eric a few weeks ago. I was there to get some paperwork done. Yeah, Milos, thanks for the kind words. I think I would just like to stress one thing. Now, as they say, with the whole macro environment happening, etc., I think people are starting to realize and to focus more on the real stuff, meaning on the real, technology that is there on the field, really making difference, and really something that works, can be solved, and it's not put for a later stage decision. Actually, if I may say so, this whole market environment is actually also potentially an opportunity for us, because of the cost base that the restaurants are of course going to look to optimize. If they can cut 1 or 2 people with the technology that is substituting them, or of course people are also migrating to other jobs. So this is something that a part of the pandemic. So there were 2 unlucky events in the last 2 years, the pandemic and now the whole crisis. I think what it shows is the resilience of the software that we are building, and actually the value, because through both crises, I think we're just going to come out as a winner in terms of company and in terms of the value proposition that we're bringing to the market, especially to the granular side of the market. So to the smaller businesses who are really sensitive to prices and to different, let's say, volatility that is there.
But also, we need to recognize the type of industry you're in. That
yeah,
it's
exactly.
Margin-based business.
Exactly.
And when you optimize the process and lower the cost, you increase the margin of the business.
Exactly. So onboarding is now a huge step for us. This is what we are spending most of our efforts on, by applying all different sort of automation in terms of matching. We suck in the orders, the inventory from the POS, then we suck in the inventory from the delivery platform, and we let the software do the matching. We don't have to connect it automatically one by one. So these are the type of things we are working on, just to make the whole process quicker. So for our colleagues in the customer success team, that they are actually simply, have to go through the list and say, hey, tack, 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 this works, and we test it, and it's live. So I'm quite confident that we can reach this KPI of 24 hours or less in terms of onboarding. What is also very interesting is what we started doing recently for retailers. Yeah, but let's go to many other questions if there are some, and then we can take it maybe as one of the questions.
Yeah, I think that one of the first questions is understanding a bit the product from a technical side, and how is it actually integrated. Let's say you're a restaurant, how does that work? Like taking it from step 1.
Sure. We made it super easy for restaurants. So restaurant doesn't have to do any technical work at all. They just sign the contract. In the contract, there is a separate term sheet actually, with the permission for us to access their account on Global Vault or whatever is the delivery platform that they are using. And our operations team takes it over from there, contacts them, exchanges the API keys, sucks in the inventory, the inventory from their POS, and it pretty much happens in the background. So without the restaurant owner having to do anything. This is one of the things also that people love. When it comes to menu management.
Just one clarification, because I know we had also this issue in our discussions. POS refers to point of sale, not to the
correct. It refers to the not to the device that is used to charge the cards, because there is some confusion in terms of terminology. We refer to the point of sale system, meaning the cash register. In some countries they call it ECR, like the electronic cash registers, Kassan system or whatever they call it in a specific country. But yeah, this is what we refer to. We are basically not trying to make the whole process as easy as possible to the restaurant owner. The only thing that they can and should do is to update the menus and prices. It's a simple drag and drop interface. They can, say, hey, I want, my offer on delivery platforms to look like this. I can schedule the availability of items, and that's pretty much it. But this is, I would say, as any web-based app that can be done. But for the actual mapping and onboarding and configuration, it's all done by our operations team without the need for the restaurant owner to do anything. So he will just see the orders coming into the POS or cash register, as you said.
And what's the usual, let's say, what's the usual customer profile that you have? Because you mentioned several use cases that you're targeting. Where's it coming from?
I think we are pretty much, on average, we have 2 and something locations per client, more or less. So I would say this is a result of a balanced pool. Yeah. So there are chains with 20 locations, 10 locations, and then there are single location restaurants. The more locations restaurants have, the more benefits we bring. Of course, this is clear. But I would say it lies somewhere in that angle. So on the crossover between smaller chains and single independent, high frequency, high turnover popular restaurants. This is where we are.
All right, and from a subscription perspective, you manage that you have like a tier priced subscription. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Like, how does it work? Sure. What's the average contract value that you have at the moment?
Sure. So currently, we are charging per location. So if a restaurant has, let's say, more locations, we are charging proportionally to that location. The packages are based on the number of transactions that is processed per location. This is something that is quite, let's say, common, I would say, in the industry, and we are currently around 85, if I'm not mistaken, euros per location is something that we charge. As you can see, this is way above the minimum pricing that we have there that we have set there. So leaving us a lot of room to increase also going forward, which is something that we are also considering. Yeah. So just to how to bundle it. Sorry, the second question was one was with regards to the packages, how they are structured, and the second one was
the average contract value. But you mentioned...
So I answered 85 euros, 85 to 87. Don't get me for the small nitty-gritty detail.
And have you seen any churn until now, or how does your churn rate work?
Yes, we have seen, of course, some churn. There are several reasons why restaurant might churn. First of all, would be, let's say, simply the POS system that is not yet ready. We have seen actually restaurants churn and then come back to us once they have changed the POS system, which is also something that we find interesting. Of course, there has been no churn for simply solution not working, or we found an alternative or whatever of that nature. It's mostly, so it tends to be a really sticky business. So clients that we onboarded are with us from the moment we onboarded them. The reason is, as I said, mostly restaurants go out of business. This is also something that is in this industry quite frequent, even though we are, of course, focusing on restaurants that are a bit more established iconic venues or places which we know that have high turnaround. But yeah, mostly it has been either technical reasons due to the POS or internet connection. Sometimes, you know, on their location there, it's not possible to establish, I don't know, fixed IP address, and they have problems connecting, things like this.
All right. And now coming a bit to the, let's say, proceeds of the round and what's the purpose of the round. You mentioned entering Romania among other markets. So what's the strategy to tackle a new market? First of all, how did you do until now? I mean, I know you have some clients in Croatia. I know you have some clients in other geographies, but how do you plan to tackle a new market? And
just to correct you, we have international clients in Bosnia. Few chains we are onboarding now in Montenegro. Croatia, we have a lot of on the pipeline. Actually, some Croatian businesses active also in Romania, etc. But the strategy is twofold. So first of all, we want to capture the, let's say, our home extended home market. So places that are really near to us culturally, also in terms of price sensitivity, in terms of market development for F&B. This is one thing. Second thing, it's driven also by the integrations that are present on their market. Simply, for example, by entering Romania or by entering Greece, we would unlock an integration that would allow us to go then the next step. And is in this interim step, let's say the cost for customer acquisition that we are calculating, in general, the whole, let's say, unit economics works with the size of this round. So, of course, it would be possible to say, yes, we would like to go to Italy immediately or to a bigger market. But I think in this moment, we would then lose the cushion, you know, of stable revenues from our home market that feels us, that based on which we can feel comfortable that, you know, even if we experiment a little bit more in other markets, we have, you know, enough cushion to go through the whole wave of crisis that is probably coming. Yeah, so it's a bit of a balanced approach in that sense.
Okay, and I mean, staying on that topic, like, what's your go-to-market strategy to, for instance, Romania? How do you see penetrating this market?
Sure. I mean, we have, let's say, identified already or divided what are the roles that have to be filled locally with local leads, so market launchers in each of this market. Romania, for us, according to our research, is a market that is 5 to 6 times greater than Serbia alone, and combined with the Western Balkans, it's approximately 2 to 2.5 times bigger. So we would definitely need a local market launcher on site, on the ground. And of course, with a local customer success rep or somebody who is at least a local speaker, which is also one of the reasons that we can facilitate that, because of course we do have a lot of Romanian speakers in Serbia, yeah? And vice versa. So this is something that is let's say, good for us, and we are thinking in this direction. Besides that, we cannot, of course, create a fully decentralized structure. In order to make it scalable, certain roles are going to remain in the head office. So the whole operations, everything that happens in the background, development, etc., is going to remain in the head office, in the HQ.
All right. And there's also like a, let's say, technical question on the economics. Did you already monitor like the lifetime value per client and the customer acquisition cost? What's the ratio that you have right now?
Yes, we did. I mean, when we started, we were assuming a sort of blended 2-year average lifetime of a customer, and we were assuming somewhere approximately 1.5 locations per customer on average, yeah, or throughout the portfolio. Currently, yeah, with the metrics that I mentioned, so 85 euros is the approximate subscription per month, and then you can simply multiply that. Our customer acquisition cost is way lower than that. Yeah, so we are, in terms of ROI on marketing investment, we are profitable. I mean, the unit economics make sense.
All right.
Just to confirm, also maybe a bit of information. So currently, that's why a good part of our pipeline is generated through inbound. So we have figured the economics that work for us, and we are also starting to facilitate that also through the partner network. Yeah, of course, we have partners that can drive business to us in exchange for referrals, and of course, as long as that referral is lower or equal to the target customer acquisition cost that we are seeing or planning and budgeting, I think the unit economics works.
All right, and I mean, I have a question for both of you. Where do you see like the main risks of the business right now, in the coming 12 months?
Milos, do you want to start?
No, you got a heat on, so you can continue.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the risk, simply maybe two things. First would be the slow timing in terms of finding the right people, etc. But I think that Telecom Serbia Ventures, so they were actually quite I think innovative in suggesting the term sheet. So the way the round is structured will actually not allow us to to simply sit on that money and forget about how the things are running. It's KPI driven, and with these KPIs we need to really make sure that we reach certain targets. One of the targets being onboarding, as I said, and the second target being actual penetration on the market. So as I said, first risk is that we are a little bit too slow on the execution side. Second risk is that we are not good enough in onboarding, or that we can that we are slow to onboard, and that we cannot come up with the revenues needed to balance this out. But I think that the way the round is structured, and I was discussing this with Željko and Vladimir and with Milos, I think we have a good basis to enough motivation for the team, but still enough liquidity to fulfill the hiring plan. And to have everything that we need. Other than this, speaking about other risks, I mean competition, yes, it's always there. It's a normal thing on the market. Macro scenarios, I think, as discussed, this goes into our advantage. Lateral competition, second best solutions. This is also something that we see on the market. Some chain develops their own solution. I think in the long run, I mean, it will be of course way more economical for them to go with an existing solution than to maintain a huge, cumbersome, customized one. But these are pretty much the main risks. But I tend to see it this way.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. The biggest risk I see is time. As soon as as a startup receives the seed round and enters an international market, you have a stopwatch starting to tick, and then you need to be fast and furious when you scale in the blue ocean, as Central Eastern Europe is for Bitebell. So the biggest question is, how fast can you fulfill the targets that the NKPS set? And the other risk is talent, finding the right talent and retaining it, especially in this market today, and that's going to be in the next 2 years. Those two are the biggest ones I see right now. Technology is there right now. It's time for execution. That's why we're constantly supporting and bringing value to the team, because we know how important it is to actually make them scale faster and easier as possible. And I expect that this group of investors that will be present in this round will add a lot of benefit, a lot of value to the team, and help them mitigate these risks as much as possible.
If I may add, I just read one of the questions. I didn't really fully answer with regards to the integration of third parties. This is, of course, part of the rollout, and it is something that we have to be fast with. Of course, let's divide it into two sides. Delivery platforms are, let's say, once we integrate with the delivery platform, we can operate in all of the markets the delivery platform is present. So that part is, let's say, I would say, not that cumbersome. They do have private or semi-private APIs and teams that we are already in touch with. Of course, the question about integrating with local players, it's a pure business development question. So we went through this already on our let's say home markets in these geographies that we are here. We speak with all of the POS vendors. They understand, yeah. So it's not a big. Of course, there are POS vendors that offer some sort of direct integration themselves. This is something that we actually immediately prioritize as a POS vendor that we want to onboard, because this means that they have the technology and APIs in place to process and to connect with us as well. Recently, one of the major players in Serbia turned out to us and he said, "Hey guys, can you please take this business over, because this is not our business. We deal with what happens in store, tables and how the bills are, fiscalization and this type of things. Mapping of products is not what we want to do. It's changing, yeah, too constantly. There is too much of let's say support needed in the way POS businesses work, versus with us it should be pretty much automated. Yeah. So hope this answers one of the questions in the audience.
It does, and there's another question related to like GDPR, proprietary software IP, just to make sure that you guys are covered on that end as well.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we of course do on some occasions process the data when there is a direct ordering in place. Of course, I didn't have time to go through all of the features, but Bitebell also enables companies to have their own direct white label ordering if they want. Yeah, and that's when they collect when our clients collect the personal information of the customer, email, phone number, etc. So that part, of course, yes, it's there. In terms of other proprietary rights, the software is developed in-house, so it's everything that we have developed internally. Yes, libraries are used, etc. But this is, I think, normal part of the business. So not something that goes beyond what is a normal market practice. Proprietary software. In terms of AI, we are also experimenting with other third-party service providers to help us process data. So all based on licensing agreements and etc. So I think this part is pretty much covered. We are, of course, sensitive to the topic, but for the major part of our business, so for the platform orders, personal information is not a topic because they rarely submit the names, and even when they do, we have procedures in place. We had it with one of the clients. They wanted, as soon as the transaction is completed, they were using Bitebell as a middleware to get the orders into their fleet management system. But as soon as the order was completed, we were asked to anonymize the data. So we are pretty, let's say, on track with what the requirements are at that front. Hope this also answers.
Yeah. And then so last
Octavian, thank you for this. Sorry, Eric, for jumping on that, but Octavian left a question. Thank you.
So last but not least, I mean, I always ask this is, again, for both of you, what's the main reason a SeedBlink investor should join on this round and be part of Bitebell's journey?
Yeah, first of all,
what are the three main, let's say, arguments?
Well, first argument is that you will get your orders, faster and with less errors. Yeah, that's for sure. So that's a sort of a selfish answer. Of course, you as I said, we are a B2B startup, but there is a spillover effect that also B2C clients can see. Second thing, of course, is the geographical proximity. I think that we are pretty aligned with what SeedBlink has to offer in terms of investor base with our go-to markets. We really feel that there is a good mix there, Eric, as we discussed on multiple occasions. I think these are all markets that we are looking forward to get. And so far, I mean, we have been really actively working with our investor base also to help us to make introductions and facilitate entries to I think this is definitely something that so Bitebell is something that really took off, and I really want to share also the intention of the co-founding team to share it with the angel round. Yeah, this is why we have dedicated a part of the angel round with us. So we are, of course, looking to have angels on board in order to help us facilitate the entry to these markets, which is going to be very rewarding, of course, for everybody, I think, on this call.
All right, thank you. And Milos, how about you? What are the 3 main reasons?
That's the goal. Be the beneficials for everybody on this call and beyond. Well, look, on this short notice, what I can come up with is, yeah, I will repeat this constantly. The strong team that you can support and work with. It's a pleasure working with the guys, and then they're really ready to listen to every advice everybody has to offer regarding, especially if somebody's familiar with the industry where Bitebell wants to operate in. It's second thing is timing. Right now is a good time to catch the wave early on, both industry-wise and investment-wise in Bitebell. It's a good time to actually jump on board and bring some additional value to the team, advices and network connections, everything that can make the operations much easier than so far. And the third thing, and the most funny one, is join the good community of investors on Bitebell. The fun thing is it's going to be good company, a lot of good networking, and then we can jointly work on not only Bitebell but also on different things.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. Thank you for taking the time and for the questions. So just as a short reminder, so the investment opportunity will be live on Friday for priority access for our elite investors, and then next week it will go public. Thank you both for the pitching and answering the questions. As a reminder to our investors, please, I mean, both, I'm sure Srdjan and Milos and the team is available to answering additional questions if they may arise, either by email or in the discussion tab on the SeedBlink platform. Thank you all so much, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.